I'm sorry, y'all. Give me 2 more minutes. Yo, what is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? What is up, everybody? It is your boy, MM2K of PNTS Network. We're really geeks now. Geeks, hard knock digital culture, and cloud dosage. Back again with another episode of the NROMicCheck. And man, oh man, oh man, do we have a show for you today. We got Cold Blood in the chat. He says, Phil Spencer, countdown. You learn. Oh, whatever, man. Yeah, we'll see if I'm gonna call Phil Spencer tonight, right? Because there's people out here that have direct pipelines to Bethesda, third-party PR, and they got text and stuff that gives them wrong information on when codes are being released. And also gives them vague responses to whether a game is coming to another platform or not. And they take it as gospel to call other people liars. But that's here nor there. That's here nor there. That's a whole nother topic, I think. No, we're going to have fun with this one because one of the parties involved, I just realized blocked me. And that just goes to double down and really show that the narrative that we have for today's show is so spot on. And it makes it even more a necessity for us to call this out. This is journalism at its lowest. I hate to say it. Journalism at its lowest, because what happens is when you're a journalist, people are looking for transparency. And if it's the news that you're supposed to be reporting on, people are looking for a biased or unbiased perspective on just the general news reporting. And for some reason, this particular brand that we're seeing all over Twitter is having some difficulty with that. Bear with me because I'm trying to get all my applications running and everything. For some reason, everything wouldn't pop up today. There we go. There you go. I knew you could do it. I knew you could do it. He said, can't trust him no more on his opinions because he's getting sponsored by a gaming company is a no-no for integrity. Oh, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. I've had partnerships with different platforms. We had what was that drink that we did? What the hell is that drink that we were? I can't even remember that powder drink. And if a gaming company that maybe sold triggers or something like that, if they wanted to sponsor the program, I'm not against it, Cold Blood. I don't think that's a problem. The problem, I think, becomes, well, no. I'm sponsored by to a degree. Well, no. I mean, you can't. Nah, that's not the right terminology. I'm not sponsored. I mean, I wouldn't mind being sponsored, but what I would have to do is the sponsored content would have to be spliced away from my my normal content, and they would have to understand that. You know what I mean? Like it would be a strategic partnership like that. But yeah, I mean, we kind of have like a partnership with NVIDIA GeForce now because I'm a creator. And I, have a publication as well that I run with Jack. You know, they have a partnership where we get access to certain things. We get access to meetings. We get access to codes. I don't think that attacks your integrity. You just got to know how to handle it. Like you just got to know where to put the guardrails up at. Like like for instance, Cold Blood, you can't stand GFN, right? So being that I'm partnered with GFN, do I give you a script and say, now Cold Blood, these are my partners and they give me codes and they give me information, embargoed information. You can't say this. No, even on the GFN catered content, I'll let you rip. So it's all about how you handle it. You know what I'm saying? And if you can be critical, and if your partners can understand that you can be critical. I don't get into any partner. Let me tell you guys something. If somebody would have ever sponsored me and we would cross paths to where I would have to critique what it is that, I'm being sponsored as, you know what I mean? Like, I'm going to give my full critique. And the sponsor would have to understand that, and they would have to either deal with it or, like we say in the streets, take it or squeeze it. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to deal with it. So there would be sponsored content where I'm just basically advertising the product. But then if it comes to a review where I got to give my honest assessment about an update or something, and I'm like, look, man, I really don't like this. And I'm going to say that they got to deal with that. I would never oblige to an agreement. Like, for instance, I'll see people that will make agreements and they'll be like, yeah, so get potluck dinner. Potluck dinner is the best dinner in the world. And I have potluck dinner they ship you the ingredients, they're fresh. And, this is oh man, when I eat potluck dinner, it's great. Now that part I would never do, unless I really felt that way. But you have creators that get sponsored and they'll say something like that. And here, this one creator that I love their content, but they're advertising his food service, and the food service is not even in their country. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff like that. Now, even though this creator isn't talking about food, he's talking about sports. You know what I mean? Still, there's an integrity issue with me in regards to that, because the purpose of the sponsorship is to say, hey, this is something worth you, the viewer, taking a look at. Here's the information about it. I'm even if I'm not giving my own personal take on it, me advertising it makes it seem like a valid product. You know what I mean? And it's hard for me to validate a product that I don't have access to. Like when I was promoting that gamer powder, that stuff was great as far as giving you energy, but then I discovered that there may be some other things about it that may not be so great long term. So I just stopped. You know what I mean? I forgot what the name of that stuff was. So we stopped. If you can't take that, then we got to end the partnership. So it's all about the character of the person who has the partnership, in my opinion, Cold Blood. He said he's done. He went full influencer. He no longer represents the streets, but only himself. That's not true. Like, I hope you're not doing what these Xbox zealots are doing out here, taking edited clips, and going off the edited clips and taking that as gospel. Because if you are, and I was just talking, part of the reason why I was late is shout out to my brother Watchman's Collective. He's a big Xbox enthusiast, but he's a cool guy. I know Cold Blood would say, oh no, he's wacky. No, I think Watchman's Collective, he's a cool dude. But sometimes his bias gets the best of him, and it creates like hypocritical situations for him. And I love pointing that stuff out to people, not just him, but to people in general. Like whenever you want to give somebody a label for a particular action, that label has to apply to every single scenario that foots that bill. So me and him are having a discussion like that. I put a place marker on it because I got to get live for the show. You know what I'm saying? And so we're doing the show right now. We're going to be talking about something that's relative. You know what I mean? But before we get into all that, today's show is about, here, let me do this. I should probably do this, right? And that is, here, give me a second, y'all. Oh, I hate this sound or this thingy board. Welcome to NRO podcast. We're gonna go live. Yeah, I'm blaming Watchmen's Collective, NRO mic check. No, shout out to Watchmen. NRO mic check. Today's video is this. Holy crap. I didn't intend for all that to be. Okay, hold on. Give me a second. I'm sorry. Home. Join the discussion. There we go. A matter of fact, this is what it should be into the discussion. Hold on. Oh, come on. Don't move too fast. Don't move too fast, man. All right, there we go. All right, let me go back up here. Put this up here because this belongs right there, so you guys know what title this episode is. And then I'm gonna in defending. All right, and then I need some the story. I need to put some place markers here. The story, so when this goes to YouTube, I know exactly where to put the markers at. So here goes the story. Then what else we got? We got the problem. The problem. What else we got here? We got why this is happening. Why this is happening, and I think I'm still mute on Discord. Why this is happening, and lastly, the solution. Okay, the solution. All right, there we go. I think I am muted on Discord. Let me check, because if you prefer, if you know, yeah, I'm muted on Discord. Okay, all right. Now I'm unmuted on Discord. Shout out to the homie Lo-Fi. So if you don't want to watch via via Twitch live, I always do my shows on the Geeks Discord. Okay, we're going to talk about that a little bit. What is Geeks? What that represents? And really, if there was a better time to, there is no better time to promote Geeks, because the purpose of Geeks is to help gamers get away from all this muck and all this lack of integrity that's out here on Twitter. We're going to talk about that a little bit. But first, let me pay the bills. This is the website, our current website, which is pntsnetwork.com. This is the website where you can catch all of our articles, all of our YouTube content. And if you go to me under the members section, which is MM2K Gaming, as soon as it loads, come on, baby, you can do it. Come on, baby. There you go. I knew you could do it. That's why we're getting a whole brand new site, because it's ridiculous. You look, check this out. This is us right here. So you can check out the show on Twitch. You can check out my last show that has now been ported to YouTube. Why Xbox may now be ignoring zealots. That was a great show. And check out all the stuff. Now, this website is going to be rebranded. It's going to slowly transform into our Geeks property. But what you're going to want to do in the interim is, if you click here on the Geeks tab, there is a page created where you can check us out on Twitter. The Instagram and stuff is coming soon. And you can also click here, and this will take you to our Discord. So Geeks does have its own page right now on the PNTS Network site, but we're soon going to be changing all this, and we're going to be making everything the Geeks brand. So just bear with us. You know, we're trying to chew off a lot in a little bit of time, but we'll be doing that pretty soon. Okay. So I wanted to do that before I did anything else. Today's video is about this. Well, again, this is NROMicCheck. And today we're going to be talking about, in defending Xbox, these journalists, really do a bad job in this instance that we're going to go over, and they make a very bad take. All right. And in order for us to go over that, there's going to be multiple sections. We're going to talk about the story here. We're going to go over what the actual problem is with what happened yesterday that sparked all this. Why this is happening, why this problem even exists. And then, as we always, we're solution oriented. We always come up with what we think is a solution, and we lead with our best foot forward after analyzing a situation. This is what I do for work. So whenever a mistake happens, all of the important people get together and we do like a risk analysis. We do a risk cause. It's called an RCA, a risk cause analysis. And we sit down and we say, okay, this is how the problem started. These are the risks associated to it. How can we minimize / eliminate those risks? Because when it comes to the world of business, there are some situations where you have to deal with a certain amount of risk. You can't eliminate them. As much as they may make you, it's just going to require system and resources, including people, to be on top of their job to minimize errors associated to those risks. So, because that's what I have to do for work, I tend to bring some of that stuff home. And so whenever I conclude a show, I always conclude with the solution. What is the risk cause analysis? Like, how can we fix this problem? What is the best solution for you as the gaming consumer to navigate through all this muck? Because I'm telling you, it used to be fun and funny back in the day on Twitter, but with all these salt miner content creators that just blur the lines between fantasy and serious discussion and all this other stuff, it's really become bad on social media. Like, there was a point when I first started this in 2017, there was a pure benefit to going to a content creator versus a publication. That's because publications are in the business of getting clicks off you visiting their site. You know what I'm saying? And just looking at ads or whatever. Where a content creator, you know what I mean? You hit them up with a super chat. I don't even think super chat was around when I first started this, but by you viewing their content and by the longer that you view their content, the better it is for them. And what they're doing is they're using an opportunity not to get you to click so ads pop up or whatever, but they're trying to educate you. And then you appreciate that education that you get from that creator. So therefore you continue to come back and come back and come back. That's how it used to be. And then this salt mining bull crap or whatever you want to call it, where it's not about keeping up the integrity or keeping other creators honest. It's just about personal attacks. It's not about anything substantive. And then when you call out said creators, oh, you see, you don't get the joke. You don't get, this is just a joke. You don't get it, right? Like there's this continuous revolving door of deflection where they get to personally insult you. They get to call you idiotic for the things that you say or the things that you believe. But when you turn the things back on them, oh, you don't get, see, you're taking what I'm saying too seriously. You don't get it. It's just a joke. Yeah, I caught a massive L on that, but it's all part of the joke. It shouldn't attack my credibility, right? Because it's just a joke. You just don't get it. We're dealing with too much of that. All right. Let me see what my brother Cold Blood is saying. He says, it does though. You can it on GFN no matter what. Huh? No, it doesn't. What are you talking about? Cold Blood in our last or a couple of podcasts ago, we just talked about how NVIDIA was plausible in the day before. Like I'm part of the root cause analysis. I attacked NVIDIA. I told them, I said, you can't go and do these shows and validate content without you observing it. You kind of set the stage for the makers of the day before to start frauding people. You remember that? I mean, I can't help it if I like the overwhelming majority of what I'm being presented with. It's the same with PlayStation. I don't have no partnerships with PlayStation. I like the overwhelming majority of what I'm being presented with. You're more contrarian than I am. So there's a lot of things that rub you the wrong way, even more so with PlayStation than it does me. So, but you can't say that PlayStation ain't paying me to say the positive things that I say about them. Same with GFN. GFN is my favorite way to play. But oh no, I'll criticize them in a heartbeat when I think something isn't right. And I put not only them, but NVIDIA, I put at their feet, NVIDIA overall, I put at their feet the fact that the day before was a problem. So no, and I'm not an ambassador. I'm not a GFN ambassador. Probably for that reason, but that's fine. I'm okay with how the relationship is. I love GFN. I'm not going to let it ruin my integrity, but I love GFN. But if something is wrong, I'm going to call it out. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Oh, and another thing too, man, I know cold blood, it causes so much heartburn. And I feel for the partners over at GFN, because it's like they're looking at me and they're like, dude, you love the platform so much and we love the things that you say about it, but bro, you got to lay off the Xbox. No one's ever said anything to me, but I'm not dumb. All right. VP within my sector, Fortune 500 company for over 20 years. I've been doing this for a long time. A lot of sports being played this weekend, right? Yeah. And a lot of sports being played. Let me put it like this. Some of the Hall of Famers and a lot of the sports that you were watching, I've dealt with them and their legal representation. That's just a Tuesday to me. That's why I don't get all worked up about this gaming celebrity or that gaming celebrity. To keep my lights on, I deal with the cream of the crop celebrities and their legal representation. Had to argue them down and tell them about themselves under certain scenarios. All right. So, you know, I'm not easily impressed just by a persona. But with that being said, I know my contacts at NVIDIA. They're like, bro, it's like a double-edged sword with you. We love how much you're promoting the platform. And, you know, whatever it is that's, you know, keeping you excited, we hope to keep it going. But, bro, you got to lay off the Xbox. I know, because it puts me in a weird space as far as promoting the platform, because now the platform is really, I think, being propelled because of his partnership with Xbox. And I do appreciate PC Game Pass, but I'll never let off Xbox. I'll never do it. You know what I'm saying? So, no, that under no way, shape, form, or fashion do I let a partnership or whatever, you know, dig into my integrity. Never have, never will. Oh, bruh. See, oh, cold blood. You're such a contrarian that when you see a glass, you always see the glass half empty instead of the glass half full. What you said right here is very false. Nah, just what I see coming from him on his channel. It's just coffee sponsors to give me that money. Oh, F your opinion. No, see, you don't see that on the channel. You saw an edited version on Twitter. If you know better, you got to get off of Twitter. Number one, the coffee is not a sponsor, bro. He makes the coffee. The coffee is his. It's his side company. It's his coffee, bro. It's not a sponsor. It's called Reforge Coffee. It's his coffee. He told you they bag it up and they ship it from his house. It's his coffee. He partners with a jobber that curates and gets the beans together and the bags are shipped to his house. That's his warehouse, his home. And he ships the coffee out from his home. The coffee is his. So number one, survey says you're wrong there. Also, the F off, your opinion doesn't matter, that was totally taken out of context. Totally taken out of context by grifters and Xbox fanboys. I can't believe you're falling for this mess. What he was saying, and I'll get into more of this in the show because it's actually part of the show. What he was saying was, look, because what he does on a daily basis is he sits with his member community, and he'll do and him and his members will plan the next day's show. So he was having an intimate conversation with the members, and he was just simply saying, hey, look, we're getting a lot of griefers that are coming in here. We're getting a lot of people that are just coming, trying to start some dishonest console fanboy stuff. And that's not what we're trying to do here. Like, of his biggest support, like really most of his supporters are Xbox gamers because they came over with him from the Twitch platform when he used to be a Destiny content creator, and he played Destiny on Xbox. So most of his supporters are Xbox gamers. So there's plenty of Xbox people that don't agree with him, that question him back and forth. The problem that he has is when people get into the personal attack area, when they start insulting him and stuff like me and you are used to that, Cold Blood. We'll do that all the time. It's kind of like, let's be fully transparent here. When a homie Dragorn, I hope I'm not pronouncing his name wrong because we want to get him on the show. My homie, when he came on the show and did the One NRO podcast, and you were, I don't think there was a problem with it. He didn't. Dorgon didn't think there was a problem with it, but you were like, look, man, maybe I was a little bit too sharp with Dorgon because you weren't sure if he was used to it. But Dorgon is a tough cookie. He's a bright guy, tough cookie. That's why I want to get him on the show. And I don't always jive up with his opinions, but he articulates them very well. And that's what I want. I want to sponsor intelligent conversation, even if I don't agree with it, right? But you were like, no, man, maybe I was a little bit too rough with Dorgon. You know what I mean? But in Dorgon's case, he's used to it. He's not afraid of that stuff. But in Reforge Gaming's case, see, he's not used to that. He ain't used to that crumb side sharp just hitting you plow. He's not used to that. So when people was coming at him like that just for him sharing his opinion, he would go back and forth with him, and then you would have the griefers that was taking his content, clipping it out of context, and say, look at this guy, he's a scuzz bucket. He's saying this, that, or the other. Meanwhile, I'm watching the show. I watch the content. I see the content from beginning to end. Like, I have a business with a friend of mine where we have to go around the different community centers, and we got to present stuff and prop stuff up and do different things. And then we also take the samples that are there at the community center, because it's also like a blood drive place and where people can get their flu shots and, get tested for different things. So we also have delivery people that do that. So I got to fill in because we're light on staff. So sometimes I'll come in and I'm just filling in and I'm watching people. I'm just watching people from the office, because before I got involved, there was a whole bunch of shady stuff going on there, right? I think I talked about this before, but I won't get into that. So a lot of times I'm just sitting in the office, just watching the people set up, making sure they're doing what they're supposed to do, ain't drifting somewhere else, doing some other shady stuff. So I'll turn on Reforge. I don't listen to him during the day because I'm live during the same time. So I'll turn on Reforge, and I'm there for like 4 hours. So I'll catch like pretty much this whole full day's full of content. So I see it from beginning to end. I'll see the clips that are taken out of context on Twitter first, and I shake my head at them because I can see the edits. And then when I listen to it at night, when I'm at work, I'm like, I knew it. You know what I'm saying? So in particular, what he was talking about was people that come to his shows, because he started to grow in popularity and memberships and people engaging in shows, Like it pretty much doubled overnight. Some of it was because of PlayStation people that liked the arguments that he was putting out there, but equally as much and more annoying for him, it was Xbox people who just cannot take anything negative for Xbox. So they were hating on him. That's where all this clipping out of context and attacking them personally, and certain content creators calling them certain things and just doing it because they're jealous. I'm going to get into what they're jealous about later in the show, but they're jealous. They're jealous. Number one, well, I'll get into some of it now at a high surface level. They're jealous because a lot of the argument points that these Xbox zealots were putting out there, he intelligently was debunking them. Like they were, the Xbots were running amok on Twitter, just saying any stupid thing. And he just came on the scene and debunked it like no other. Secondly, he does pretty well for himself. He's not the hugest YouTuber, but he has a system up to where he doesn't have to work. In combination with his own coffee, cold blood, it's his coffee, in combination with his own coffee and what he does on YouTube, he does this for a living. They are mad. And cold blood, you shouldn't be falling victim to this. It's the same hate that they give to Z, because Z makes more money than them. Reforge, this is why I like Reforge, because I can relate, because I've seen it before from my mentor, from Z. Reforge Gaming and Z, they have unique systems that are fireproof. They don't go off of the average YouTube, I got to get paid off of ad revenue, and so I got to grind with views. No, they have fireclad systems that rely on something else, and they're jealous, just like they were jealous of Z. Z is killing them in revenue. I've seen the figures. I've talked to people who specifically make people pay for this information. I've had access to all of your favorite YouTubers' information, because this information is being sold to developers and other companies, because they use it to look up when you go apply for a key. Oh, how well is this dude doing? So these analytics that are being spewed out, there are actually companies out there that sell the stuff that you've never heard of. And I have connections with them. I know people that have connections with a few. I've seen all your favorite YouTubers estimated income and revenue and all this other stuff, and it's pinpoint because it's being sold to companies like EA or whoever when people start requesting codes or requesting partnerships with them. So I know what people are making. And some of these Xbots that are out here, Z is crushing them. He is mutilating them. He's murdering them. And they don't understand because Z only has like 17,000 subs. That's because Z is smart and he knows how to hustle. He's a hustler. Z's a hustler. And they're mad about that. They are angry about that. Z is destroying a lot of your favorite Xbox content creators because he's come up with a mechanism that's fireclad. The same with Reforge Gaming. Reforge Gaming has come up with a system that's fireclad. And they're mad because they don't get, how does he get to stay home and do this? I would like to stay home and do this. Everybody else got to go get a job. So what they do in return, they go suck Xbox ass. I know this is supposed to be safe for work, but you gotta excuse, they go suck Xbox ass. And after wiping the doo-doo strips off their chin, they got to sit there and look at the residuals from their YouTube ad revenue. And they're like, okay, this is all right. I can get a round of beers with this one. Meanwhile, this guy is living off of this. Look at what they did to Z. You had YouTube content creators that said they were going to call the police on Z. They said they were going to call the police on Z. But Z, as gifted as he is, here's the difference between Reforge and Z. Z has a natural gift to entertain. He can take lemons and turn them into lemonade in an instant. Reforge Gaming is a very intelligent, sharp, witty, and he's entertaining to a degree. But he doesn't have a lot of experience in this realm on the crumb side. So he's not as adept at turning the lemons that people are throwing at him into lemonade. Z capitalized on all of the hate that he was getting. Some of the greatest content is when they were coming after Z and trying to clown his takes on gaming. Some of the Xbox gamers, and y'all know how thorough Z was, and the broadband bullies. The culmination of the two done broke up some of your favorite Xbox groups. To this day, you got content creators that when Z calls them out, they don't even respond. They're afraid. They are afraid. That's the power of my brother. And you can't copy Z. You can't. But I think there's some stuff that Reforge Gaming can learn as far as dealing with some of these adversaries, because most of them, they're corny. They're all corny. They're all corny. Anybody that is jealous because someone can work from home and do this, and upset that they put up plausible arguments, and instead of you debating the argument, you got to clip stuff out of context. You got to personally attack. You're a clown. You're a bum and you're a clown. And just because you inspire a bunch of other clowns to dogpile on somebody else, that doesn't elevate you. That makes you more of a clown. The same content creators that are like, yeah, oh, this guy's this and that. How about you telling Xbox consumers, lying to them? You know you're lying to them. Telling them that Redfall is great, it's punchy, and all this silly, stupid stuff. Meanwhile, it's being released at 30 frames per second on the console that you swore to them was going to have 40 to 50 frame deltas over the PlayStation 5. You doubled down on that. You sold people what you knew was a lie. And your only response to that is, oh, well, the ball is dropped. I guess I got to go build a PC now. What about the people you lied to? They can't build a PC. They spent the $500 that they had on the resource that you told them is specifically going to do X, Y, Z. Now you're out here telling them, wait 5 years from now when the tools get developed. You all are pieces of you know what. How dare you try to label somebody out of some clips that were taken out of context, and you've been frauding gamers for your own benefit. Most of you that are new, that were PlayStation fanatics, y'all don't really like Xbox. Y'all ain't playing the games, for one. And for two, PlayStation, for all the reasons that you guys claim that you like PlayStation last gen, PlayStation is 1,000,000 times better at it now. The first 3 years since the PlayStation 5 launch are way better than the first 3 years of the PlayStation 4 launch. They have way better exclusives, way better games. They also got a PlayStation VR 2, the Portal. They're doing so much more for gamers than they were in those first 3 years. But now all of a sudden you like Xbox? When now that there is no shortages, the Xbox One is actually tracking higher than the PlayStation. Riddle me that, genius and geniuses. Riddle me that. How is the Xbox, with its meager offerings, quote unquote, last generation, now doing more last gen than they are this gen? And don't give me the crap about the cloud and PC, because those aren't filling up the gaps. Cloud and PC is not filling up the gaps between PlayStation and Xbox. So that's an ineffective argument. And the only thing that'll help Xbox shrink the gap between them and PlayStation revenue-wise is third-party games that they put on PlayStation. Imagine that. They need PlayStation to catch up to PlayStation. They're all frauds. All of them are. Every last bit of them. They're all frauds. They don't know what the hell is going on. They got their fingers crossed. They're twinkling their toes, and they're wishing upon a star, or they're placating to you, who's not using your brain to separate the forest from the trees, who don't know what's going on. Oh, I guess now I gotta go build a PC that the Xbox I've been telling all these people is gonna do this, ain't doing it. Oh, wait 5 years for the tools. Now it went from wait 5 years for the tools to 2026. Now they're coming out with a new console, man. So to address what you're saying, Cold Blood, it's not true. He was talking about the griefers and those that come into his chat that even though they're boosting his volume, his platform ain't built off of viewership all like that, like everybody else's. It's about those that appreciate what he's doing and are going to continuously support the platform. So because he doesn't want to deal with all the griefers, he's changed the format to where it's less accessible to the general public and more accessible to those that really support the platform. And what he's basically saying is, look, it may upset some people, but the people that he's referencing to isn't the general public that want to hear his content for good intentions. It's people that want to give him a bad time, clip his stuff, and say some outrageous things about him. So he's like, why would I placate to them? Which is an honest and a reasonable question. Why would I placate and make it accessible to them when they're not supporting me at all? He's talking about a specific group. He's not talking about all viewers. Let me tell you something about Reforge Gaming. I'm going to get into the content because I don't want to make this whole show about Reforge Gaming, even though his debate was at the center of this. When I discovered Reforge Gaming, it was through the good homie, Mr. 1030, or Ralph. He's a fellow cloud gamer, right? So Ralph had put a clip out there, and I was like, dang, this guy makes sense. And he was like, yeah, that's Lono. I've been listening to Lono for a while. I really like Lono's content. Here's his channel. Check it out. I was listening, and I was very impressed with his debates and his arguments. And I was like, oh man, this guy's great. I noticed that as he was catching on, that there were content creators hating on him. Oh, all this guy wants is money. All y'all want is money. If that's the case, shut off y'all super chat. Turn off your ad revenue. Stop selling merchandise. Shut up. He's just more successful at it. Even before, now for full transparency, I do support him now, but well before I would supported him, I've contacted him in his chat. He's read my comments in his chat. I've even reached out to him on Twitter. He's been conversational and nice and cool with your boy on Twitter. This is before I gave him a dime. So all this, oh, he only wants to make it accessible to people that are paying him is baloney. It's false. It is false. I appreciate that. He's my most watched content creator now. So Yeah, of course I'm going to support him. But well before I did that, he was always accessible and open. Reforge's thing is he's very sharp, and he don't purge his feelings when it comes to a particular subject. He goes all in on what he really thinks is going on. That's prime for people with nefarious intent to take a clip out of context and say, see, this guy don't care about viewers unless you're paying him. That's baloney. That's false. That's a farce. I watched all of the content. That's not the context of what he was saying. He was talking about people that go after him, that attack him, that clip his stuff out of context, that try to deter people from watching him. He's like, if I make my stuff less accessible to them, who cares? They're not even paying me. What incentive do I have to make my content more accessible to people that give me a hard time? He's not talking about people that don't agree with him or that debate him or whatever. Look, for instance, shout out to Cowboy and FCAT. I don't think they support him at all. They come in there and they debate Reforge all the time. If your intent is malicious, and I get where he's coming from because he does this for a living. If your intent is malicious and you're trying to coerce people into not coming to his platform, I could understand. And you're not used to all this personal attacks. I can understand why you would want to close off your content to people with honest intentions. Maybe they want to debate, but they're doing it in good faith. They're not attacking you personally. There's nothing wrong with that. So, let me see something real quick. I'm getting hit up for some reason. Hold on. Oh, shoot. Uh-oh. Golly. I just got news that... Hold on, what the hell? What is this? PlayStation 5 sales have surged 177% across Europe. Nintendo is dipping 10% in over the year before. And Starfield didn't make the top 20. God of War 2022 outsold it. Laugh out loud. Holy cow. That's insane. So if they can't lead in the US and they're getting that decimated in Europe, how are you making SALT content against PlayStation people when clearly the PlayStation product is the more desired brand? Who looks like the crazy person? I mean, if that's the theory, then who looks like the crazy person? And that's why I don't even get the theory on SALT content just upon what your fan base is. I don't even get it. That's why you don't see PlayStation people doing that. Like they're focused on the brand, its performance, and how it's being received by consumers. These creators on that other side, they're focused on talking points and who got cooked on Twitter. Buzzwords and talking points. All right. With enough with that, let's get into the show. Hold on 1 second. I just want to do something here. Okay. So, let's talk about what's going on here. And let's talk about how this all started. So here's what happened. Speculation about Xbox games going to other platforms started. And that's because there were rumors that were being said that Xbox was going to do, was looking to put certain critically acclaimed games on other platforms. So everybody is having the discussion, whether it's content creators, pro Xbox, pro PlayStation, journalists, whatever. Everybody's having the discussion. People are talking about rumors that they're hearing and sources that they have and all this. Everybody's engaged in that conversation, right? And games are being thrown out there. So Hi-Fi Rush is being thrown out there and so forth, or being thrown out there. So because of that, enters Reforge Gaming into the discussion. He puts his 2 cents in. He says this is an interesting discussion about who's, what games could be out there. I'm hearing from credible sources that Starfield might be on the list of games that are coming to another platform. Right? And he's like, look, and he says, hey, look, honestly, I don't know if this is true. I don't know if this is true. I don't know if the sourcing that the information that my sources are giving to me is bad. I don't know. But these come from sources that have been proven before, and I believe them. I think it makes sense on why it would be done. So he's like, I'm in the realm. He didn't say, oh, definitively Starfield is coming. I got full validation. He said, no, I'm in the realm in believing this rumor. Because it came from this source who has been validated because stuff that they told me is right. Been right before. And I think that this stuff is, it makes sense to me why Microsoft would do this. And I will say this on Reforge Gaming's behalf, and he doesn't even know this, because I see a lot of people out there saying he doesn't have any sources, he doesn't have an inside track. I get told the same thing. If you go to Twitter and you look at, hold on, let me do this. If you look at my name on Twitter, let's go to my profile. If you go to my name on Twitter, I call myself Moss, Mr. No Connections. Why do I call myself Moss, Mr. No Connections? Because some very good friends of mine, but, well, one good friend of mine, the rest are just butt munchers. But, and if that's what you're into, nothing, I didn't mean that to be. If butt munching is your thing, then you go for it. Get in that like Pac-Man. One was a good friend, but these guys were serious Xbox bootlickers, right? And they told me, they said this out their mouths, which just told me the desperation. They said, Moss, we were talking about Stadia. And they were like, there's no way that you have any connections to anybody anywhere, because I've never seen you at an E3. Number one, y'all don't know what I look like because I've never been on camera. Well, I've never been on camera for gaming content. So how do you know I've never been at an E3? Number two, let's just say I've never been at an E3 or any gaming event. We're in a digital world. Hence why E3 is even being canceled, because it was starting to become a dinosaur. I mean, I thought the presentation style was a necessity, but as far as the businesses that were involved were concerned and the amount of money they paid, it was becoming a dinosaur. So because it was becoming a dinosaur, businesses started pulling out because they're like, we don't need to come here and barter our games and our product and show them to retailers. We can do that remotely. I live in a world where I've given depositions. I've been sworn in for a deposition from thousands of miles away. I've talked to some of the most famous people in the world while they were in other countries selling the biggest business matters for them. This isn't 1919. What in the Sam hell do you mean you haven't seen me at an E3? And just to prove how stupid that is, as it relates to Stadia. Stadia, after they sold SG&E, they closed, after they sold SG&E, they decided to revert those assets towards what they call it, the low change porting. I always mess that up. The LCP, low change porting tool. The purpose of these assets were to make it easier to convert Win86 games or Windows-based games to Linux so they could be played on Stadia, right? So it was going to make the transition onto the Stadia platform as seamless as it was for platforms like GeForce Now. They were like, before we even get into the whole exclusive content deal, we got to do something about these third-party games. We got to get the big ticket third-party games on our platform like they are everywhere else, or we're lost in the sauce. So they went and reinvested that. That announcement wasn't made until the Stadia keynote in June. I reported on that in March of 2021. The information didn't come out until June of 2021. I reported on that several months in advance. Small YouTube channel. I don't even think we were over 1,000 yet. We may have been. We weren't even over 1,000 viewers at that point in time. I was leaked that information. Before June, one of my good friends that are close to Xbox, it was just on the humbug. We were having a conversation about something, and it slipped out that Xbox was getting Outriders and Game Pass day and date. So I went to another friend of mine that has close connections to Xbox, because that's what you do. You make friends with people. You do them favors, they do favors in return for you. You establish relationships. That's how you do this thing. You don't have to have high numbers next to your name in order to achieve this. You got to be likable. You can't be a jackass or a jerk off. And you got to be willing to get your hands dirty and do favors. When I say get your hands dirty, I mean really put in the work. I don't mean doing nefarious stuff, but put in the work and do some favors for people. Be valuable to people, and then they'll in turn do favors for you. So with that said, and then you gotta rely on confidentiality. There are some big ticket things that I have gotten from my sources that I will never tell y'all, period. Because that anonymity, I know I'm pronouncing it wrong, that is important when you're establishing relationships. I will never tell y'all. because I'm not out here trying to chase clicks or be the first to report. I could really tell y'all some things that will really blow up the platform. I'm not telling y'all. I'm not, because my relationships are important. I'm not willing to fizzle a relationship just because I value the relationships that I establish with people, for one. And for two, how does that serve my long-term goal of being a source to help pull you out of the muck of misinformation if I lose my sources because I don't know how to keep my mouth shut? So with that said, I went to another credible source close to Xbox, and I confirmed. I said, so many words, can you confirm this information? And they confirmed it for me. What I immediately did is I went and created a video, because at the time I was very supportive of Stadia versus xCloud. I really was disappointed in what xCloud, and to this day still am, for full transparency. That being said, I went and I said, because it was being available on the cloud via xCloud, and I created a video why, even though Outriders is coming to Xbox, I'm still going to buy it on Stadia. I made that video the same day that news dropped, and I just tucked it. I tucked the video until the information was released. And as soon as that information was released, boom, I released the video. People were like, God damn, you jumped on that quick. What they didn't realize, and I've told this story before, what they didn't realize until I made it public is I held on to that video once I got that information. And I just tucked it away until it was announced. And then boom, there you go. As a matter of fact, I wasn't even home when I aired the video. I don't believe I was. Yeah. People thought I was at home or whatever. I was out taking care of something with my son. I was, my oldest son was, he was trouble, man. I was in court, in and out of court for this dude. I was in court when I dropped that video, because I had made it before. I had spent the whole day in court with my oldest son when that video released. Well, maybe not the whole day, but when that video released, I had spent the time in court. I didn't have time to record that video and make it. It was already baked, just waiting. It was already sitting in the chamber. Then lastly, more recently, 2023, I got information from someone on the front lines that said, look, Google is now changing how they're going to interact in the gaming space, but it's not going to be what you think. Hold on one second. They said what Google is going to do is they are going to go and announce their service where they're going to supply back-end support for other cloud platforms. They're not going to have a front-end cloud platform anymore. They're going to provide back-end support. I said, they said you can publicly announce this. So, okay. I mean, of course, keep the regular things, the atypical things under wraps, but you can go ahead and announce that. And Jack is going to make this announcement in a month or two. So you can go ahead and announce that. So a month in advance, when nobody had a clue, not Axios, not VGC, not anybody, before all of those publications, guess who dropped a video on that and broke that news? Your boy, MM2K, because of my source. At that time, Stadia was dead. It was dying. People had already moved on to either GeForce Now or xCloud primarily. The power that we had in our YouTube platform wasn't there anymore. So, if anything, there wasn't a super huge incentive for them to give me that information. But they gave it to me because they wanted to test the waters and see what the response would be. So when people make the assertion that you're not big enough to have a pipe, that's false. It all depends on the relationships that you establish. And I can't even understand why my friends, some of which who have given me information, would even assert that because I wasn't at an E3, I don't have any connections. No, I'm a businessman. No. It's like Jay-Z said. I'm not a businessman. I'm a businessman. I'm all about my business. I know how to talk to people. I've talked to some of them, like I said, Hall of Famers in the sports that you're watching now. I've laughed and joked with them, had some great conversations. I had to tell some of them about themselves, them and their lawyer representatives. I know how to do this. But what I won't do is I won't sell my soul in order to do this. And then I can't get on camera too. So because of those two things, now I'm not saying everybody that's successful has sold their soul, but because of the space that I operate from, and this is how people know me, which is from the crumb side, I'm not on camera. So that's a big hurt piece right there. I think that's the biggest hurt piece as far as that is concerned. You know what I mean? And two, I don't grab a flag for a particular platform, or the platform that I support the most isn't popular mainstream wise. Like if I was just a full-throated a PlayStation person or Xbox person, oh no, I wouldn't have to get on camera. Especially if I was an Xbox supporter. Oh my God. If I was an Xbox supporter, if I still supported Xbox, please. So with that said, the whole theory behind you got to be this big in order to have connections is a farce. Even the people that tried to allege that with me, they made a hypocritical statement because they have connections and they've shared stuff with me. So that's stupid. How did I get you to share stuff with me? We established a relationship with each other. So if I can do that with you, how come I can't do that with anybody else? You know, I got it to where you're pulling favors for me. How did I do that? Because I established a relationship with you. I pulled favors for you. I'm a small YouTuber. How was I able to do that? Because I possess the savviness to be able to do so. Period. Period. It ain't got nothing to do with how many nerds you done went to E3 and smelled. That's stupid. And that's idiotic. This is 2023, 2024. To believe that you got to be in someone's face in order to establish the relationship, that just proves that too many of you don't have a life. It's a shame. But with that being said, that's why I feel that people attack Reforge Gaming, is because of the success that he's seen that they can't emulate. Just like it's like the same reason why they attack Z. But two, unlike Z, where when people would attack them, they would learn quick and they would step away. That's why when Z calls somebody out to this day, they leave him alone. They want no parts of Z. I've seen some creators try to do it, and you can tell because there's no talk back. Somebody tapped him on and said, yo, nah, you don't want to mess with that dude. Leave him alone, because he's going to have a field day with you. Some of your biggest creators, I've seen it. They've tried him, not knowing what they were messing with. He gave them a warning, like, yo. That was a warning shot across the bow. Like, don't mess with dude. Leave him alone. And they scamper like roaches. Unlike Z, Reforge Gaming, he kind of reacts in a way to all this negativity in a way that stokes their fire. Oh man, we're getting to him. look, he had to change this and change that. Oh man, we just keep it going. We can shut him down. Which in essence, you can't shut him down. The secret to his success is too ironclad. I've seen a version of that before through Z. That's why y'all can't stop Z's success. Just like y'all can't stop Z's success, you're really not going to be able to stop his success. So I don't blame him from looking at the landscape and saying, look, regardless if you agree with my opinions, if you have nefarious desires for my platform, I'm making it more difficult for you to engage. I don't blame him for that. Anybody would do that. He's just bold enough to say it. But what people have done is they've taken it out of context. All right. So that is the story behind what's going on. Oh, no. I forgot the most integral part about this. There was this publication called Gamers Enquirer who chimed in and said that Reforge Gaming is a liar and spreading misinformation simply because he threw into the discussion, well, hey, look, I heard this rumor about Starfield coming. Again, he said, I don't know if it's true. I don't know if the information that I got from these people is bad, but I believe it for these reasons. Put up a reasonable disclaimer, didn't talk about it. As a matter of fact, unlike some of these Xbox zealots you got out here that are saying, yeah, well, Xbox is going in this direction. Oh, you're going to see PlayStation go in this direction as well. They claim, they have not said, anybody has told them this. They're just doing wishful thinking. They're not even making any claims that there's information out there to prove this. Well, all they're going off of is if Xbox has to do this, then so does PlayStation. Right? But they're okay. Like I was trying to explain to Watchman's Collective, they're okay because they have said things that you've liked in the past. They're okay. But Reforge Gaming is a liar, right? And he spread misinformation. For full clarity, let's define what spreading misinformation is. Spreading misinformation, as defined by Oxford Languages, is false or inaccurate information, especially that is which deliberately intended to deceive. All right? So, putting out there in a discussion, look, I've heard that Starfield might be coming to PlayStation, and I happen to believe it. That comment within itself is not misinformation. Because and you didn't prove it was misinformation, because did you prove that he did not hear that? Did you prove that he did not hear that from a source that is valid, that has valid information in the past? As a matter of fact, I can vouch that I know he has connections to valid sources, because on a particular show, he was mentioning something that was told to me by the same source, something completely different, a completely different subject matter, but he validated something that was told to me. And I knew how he elaborated on it, that he had to get it from the same source that I did. So I said, wow. And he didn't ad lib or add anything to it. He said it exactly the way the same source told me. And this is a very credible source, because on this particular subject matter that I will not disclose, the source, everything that this source said that people were like, oh, you're lying on, or this is made up, this is wishful thinking because you're a fanboy. All that information came true. All of it came true. And the freaking zealots, they were crying. Oh, why isn't my favorite platform doing the same thing too? So I know, and I have faith. I know that he has connections to people that are connected to factual information. I can validate that myself. Secondly, I know he doesn't have a pitch it to ad lib information and add stuff to it like some of these other zealots out here. Because when I saw him portray that information, he didn't. He told it straight from the horse's mouth, as it was explained to me. So how do you know that he wasn't given that rumor from a credible source? He put up a reasonable disclaimer, which I'll go to later. He put up a reasonable disclaimer that says, look, I don't know the validity of this information, but I do believe it because of certain things. I do believe it, but we'll see if it's true. He didn't say this was true. He believed it was true. He did not definitively say it's true. Meanwhile, you have Xbox creators definitively saying that God of War is coming to Xbox. And they're not putting any sourcing behind that at all. That's more credible than what he's done? Mofo, please. So again, as we look at the definition, which this Games Enquirer wanted us to do, the definition of misinformation is inaccurate information, especially which is deliberately intended to deceive. Words have meaning. So if the guy's statement is, I was given this rumor and I believe it, where is the infactual information? Did you prove he didn't get this rumor? Did you prove that the person that supported him, the rumor, is not a credible source? Because I can validate myself. I know he has connections to a credible source because said same credible source in another scenario gave him factual information that turned out to be true, that had fanboys of another platform all in a tensy. Why can't my favorite box or my favorite brand do the same? So with that said, I now ask you guys and gals, is this really a case of misinformation? I do have one more thing I want to show you guys before we move on. So they blocked me. That's why that conversation was muted, or that's why it was difficult for me to get. Oh, excuse me, to that, because they blocked me. But here's the tweet. They said, we will now be muting this thread and no longer responding. As it stands, Starfield is not coming to PlayStation 5. The information the user shared is false, and personal attacks against staff will result in an immediate block. Have a lovely evening, you all. This shows you right now the integrity or the lack thereof of this publication. And we're going to get into the roots of this. Number one, as it stands, Starfield is not coming to PlayStation 5. Of course, as it stands, as far as what's announced, it hasn't been announced yet. And nobody said that it definitively will be announced. Someone heard information, they shared the information that they heard, and they said based upon the information that they heard, they believe it will be announced. They didn't definitively say it was going to be announced. So you saying this does not debunk the conversation he was simply having. He didn't say anything definitively. He just said what he heard, he shared it, and he said why he believed it. That's it. But here's the real hypocritical part. Personal attacks against staff will result in immediate block. But didn't you sit there and personally attack him all last night and continue to do so and continue to applaud personal attacks against him? The audacity for you to sit there and say that on your high horse when all I did was put to question some of the things that you were saying and you refused to respond. Once I told you that I own a publication and I gave you scenarios on your assertions being false, you stopped responding, and today you decided to block me. If that isn't cowardly, I don't know what is. You're a coward. And I'm not going to sit there and blame the whole publication because I know who's behind this. You're a coward. What am I talking about? Let's go here. Let's check out my responses. Because now that he's deleted see if I can find where I commented. Oh, hold on. Hold on, let me go up here. Maybe I gotta go to another part. Maybe we'll find it. See, cowards do this when they can't debate you. They get afraid and they do stuff like this. Oh man. He couldn't have deleted my comment because it wasn't his thread. Oh man. Hold on, let me do this. Gamer, was this Gamer Enquirer? It was Gaming Enquirer. Jesus. Oh, that chicken. Hold on, what the hell happened? Gaming? I think I may have saw it. Gaming Enquirer. No, I thought I saw it. Oh, come on. What is their Games Enquirer? Games Enquirer, okay. Games Enquirer. And then we got to do at MM2K. All right, let's do this. All right. All right, here we go. Okay, so here goes the thread where I got involved. Okay. So they're going back and forth, and the key to what he's saying, or what this person is saying, unfortunately using the Games Enquirer brand and putting all of the writers there and the contributors there in the fickle, something I would never do, something that's despicable. Leadership there is very flawed. No wonder why we never heard of them. That being said, so the argument that this person is putting out there is that Reforge is spreading misinformation simply because he's sharing a rumor that he happens to believe. He put out a disclaimer. I can't validate that this rumor is true. I can't validate, even though I believe it, when it would happen. But here's what I heard. I believe it's true. Here's why. So they're asserting that they've talked to people at Bethesda, mind you, and people at Bethesda told them that this was false and that they called him a liar. This was his normal assertion. So I'm reading this and I'm like, hold on, something doesn't, I'm on my way from work. I'm like, something just doesn't make sense. So Reforge Gaming properly says you have also falsely claimed that Alex, who put up a clip of him saying something and was trying to do some soul content around it, showed the whole clip unedited, which he has corrected on his thread, but you continue to display a lack of due diligence and false reporting. So they in a prior tweet said, oh, we saw a clip from Alex, and Alex's clip was not unedited, which was a lie because Alex himself said, no, the clip was edited. Because the clip that we're talking about is a clip where he's he's saying something about his rumor that he's heard, right? And he's just elaborating on it. And he's like, I never said that this was factual or whatever. The clip is edited and taken out of context. And this Games Enquirer is like, no, it wasn't unedited. We saw what Alex put out there and it wasn't edited. And Alex had to come through and say, no, it was edited. But they still continue on the assertion that it wasn't edited. So I said, look, yeah, very confusing that a response to false information, the response from PR is he's a liar, we don't know him, especially if he never said Microsoft told me. If that is the exact statement from the source and not your interpretation, I find that a difficult PR response to fathom. So again, I'm saying, what are they, you're saying through this thread that they said that he's a liar, we don't know him. So this is what they respond. They say, I guess they're alerting their contact that is supposed to be front end Bethesda. He has a live stream up right now. And they're saying, just looked him up. He's a US streamer, so nothing to do with us. Would call nonsense on it as his numbers hardly imply he has an inside track. So they're saying that it's nonsense what he's saying based on the fact that he's a smaller YouTuber. I can vouch for the fact that because I was in DMs with bigger creators, and those bigger creators trusted me to be in those DMs, and they shared a lot of confidential stuff, I can vouch on that alone. That is bullpucking. That is a deflection. And I'm going to be honest with you. It doesn't sound like a response from a front end Bethesda PR person. It sounds like it's a response from a hired gun, someone that was hired to do PR work for Bethesda, for giving out codes and stuff like that. And what it sounds like to me, and I'm going to get into this a little bit later, that this small publication, even based off the numbers that they put out themselves, that this small publication has been appointed a Bethesda third-party PR person who simply was responsible for giving out Starfield codes. Hold on one second. How do I know this? Or how do I surmise this, rather? Let's be accurate and fair here. I surmise this because this sounds like the very ambiguous response that would come from such a group. I've experienced with them. Google Stadia hired third-party people to give out codes. This is like a vague response, type of response they would give. I know when it comes to Starfield, if you're a content creator or a publication that or whatever, an influencer that has enough volume to your platform, like one of our publications does, you can apply for a Starfield code with one of these hired Bethesda PR people. And they're given information at the most like from a very topical standpoint. So I imagine that this group contacted this third-party PR group and said, hey, look, we heard from this creator that Starfield is coming to PlayStation. Do you have any information on that? And as a typical PR, they're like, hold on. We don't have anything on this. And they probably checked their their notes, because third-party PR people are given Q&A. They're given scripts like a phone call rep. They're given scripts and stuff like that to follow. Maybe they referred this to their supervisor or something like that, who is not Bethesda. And maybe the supervisor came back and said, yeah, it's just some YouTube creator that may be mouthing off. We none of our information can validate this. So just tell your person that there's no information on this, that it's just best to, to not pay any attention to that. We don't have anything like that. And that's the response they were given. Now, as someone who has communicated with other businesses and handled communication for other businesses, someone who's also ran a call center that supported tens of millions of participants, this is as blanket of a response as it can get. This has third-party communication written all over it. And they're trying to falsely, in my opinion, serve this up as, oh yeah, we talked to Bethesda. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Just looked him up. He's a US Xtreme. You got a code just like we applied for a code through a third-party contact. It is not Bethesda. Your third-party contact went and referenced to a supervisor or a script or whatever and said, hey, do we have any information on this game coming? We don't have no information on that, because if it is true, it's still being being talked about within the within the Xbox brass. They wouldn't even make that information available to a third-party PR firm. If you don't have a high business acumen, you don't understand how third-party PR works happen. You think that the group is closely connected to the parent company? No. The company that I work for, we handle one thing for the company. I remember it was an oil company. That's all I'm at liberty to say. If that, it was an oil company. There was a disaster that happened somewhere. Our team would normally not handle this, but because they had so many people that were affected and they couldn't handle the phone calls, they appointed us to be the PR representative. We were given scripts. We handled the PR for them. That's all this is, in my opinion. And that's how third-party PR works. When you're a third-party PR firm, you handle PR at a high level for a bunch of companies. You might do one. You might handle the topical PR for EA or Ubisoft or whatever. You handle all the elementary questions in regards to when a game is launching, what platform is launching on, and how they can get a code. That's grunt work that the parent company doesn't want to be bogged down in. So they pass it along to these, and they hire these third-party PR groups. You're not talking to somebody sitting in Redmond. You're not talking to somebody sitting in Bethesda. You're talking to a third-party rep. And I see nothing from this company that suggests that they have a direct contact to Bethesda. I personally know, and used to game with them a while ago, a developer from Bethesda. Now, I don't know if they're still there. Bethesda is a tough cookie to crack, to get a hold of. You got to be high up the food chain to have direct conversations with them. They are like that in large part due to all the Jason Schreier work that came out there. They are very close to the vest when it comes to their stuff. And they hire a lot of third-party PR. That's what this sounds like to me. There's nothing valid about their claims whatsoever that they talked to Bethesda and Bethesda said this. Right? So I continue. So I said, look, words have meaning. The only thing confirmed is that he has no direct ties to them. And I'm still giving them the benefit of the doubt. Because I didn't really like look at this publication. I'm looking at Reforge going back and forth with these people getting spotlighted on Twitter. I'm thinking people did their homework. I should have known better. Because this is Twitter. I'm thinking people did their homework and there wouldn't be this much engagement with them unless they had full accredited information out there that showed that they were high up the food chain. So I'm sitting there looking and I'm like, okay, maybe they do have a pipeline to Bethesda, but I'm saying, which is very evident, he never claimed that he did. So if the information is not directly from the company to the sharer, it's false? Is that your interpretation? And he said, no, it's that the two sources he claimed to have received information from have no connection to ZeniMax. If they're not from the company, they are in fact not sources. And as already mentioned, the initial response to the query was that his claims were pure speculation. So again, in the multitude of examples that I've given on this channel, and just a few examples that I've given today, this, and excuse my French, cover your ears or turn the volume down because I'm about to swear, that comment is what sparked this video or sparked this podcast. That is pure bullshit. If they're not from the company, they are in fact not sources. That's bullshit. That's absolute bullshit. Okay, I'm gonna stop swearing right now. That angered me as not only a creator, but someone that co-owns a publication. Most of the information that we get is third party. I had information leaked to me third party. It's not a source. If it's not coming direct. Look. Most of these companies, sometimes they do controlled leaks. I don't deny that. I've gotten controlled leaks before. But most of this information that we're getting that is validated later is coming from a third-party source. It's coming from a developer or someone in the know that has. I've had emails sent to me that validated what I was reporting on. And I said, okay, I'll report it. I'll just keep the prevalent information under wraps so nobody gets busted, so they don't know where it came from. I've had emails shown to me from a third-party source that they were able to validate. Actual communications. Shit that was stuff that was said in the Discord. That's absolute bullpucky. So this is when I double down on, like, look, we're gonna end this mess. I said, number one, all due respect, a lot wrong here. Let's try to get this on the straight and narrow. Number one, I don't recall Reforge Gaming giving sources. He may not have a direct pipeline, but who's to say the source isn't from someone who does? Two, even if they don't, non-direct sources matter. Continue. As a creator and co-owner of a publication myself, see, when they saw this, they were like, oh shit, excuse my French, oh stuff, I'm gonna quit swearing now, oh stuff, now we're in trouble. As a creator and co-owner of a publication myself, on various occasions, I've had third-party source information leaked to me. After our own internal process, the information was presented each time they were true. Finally, being we are not privy to his conversations, isn't it a bit presumptuous to invalidate them based off of vague PR responses? Based on that, I personally have to push back on your assertions. It appears that the assumptions are false. That's when all communication ceased. That's when all communication ceased with them. They were like, oh snap. See, we're preying off the ignorance of the average Twitter dweller that don't know how publication, PR, third-party PR, the SEO and individual, what is that called? Oh man, what do you call that? Non-repeat traffic happens and all that other stuff. Because they got this clip out there that says, oh yeah, first it went from, we average over 100,000 viewers, so we're bigger than him. It went from that to, when I questioned them again, as you'll see later, they didn't respond directly to us, but just responded to somebody that was responding to us and said, oh, we average 72,000. So you lost 28,000 people in a matter of hours? So they went from we went over 100,000 to now we average 72,000 people. And they tried throwing in, we got 30,000 people on Discord, which I don't believe that. Now, apparently their parent company is a game development company. The parent company is. Now, if the parent company has 30,000 people in it, I don't know, maybe they thought that because they have access to 30,000 people, we'll leverage that with hiring some writers and stuff like that and earn some extra money. We'll moonlight our development with having a publication. Maybe they figured that. Maybe they do have a Discord with it, but I just find it hard to believe that you have that big of a following. I've seen that big of a following with less people in your Discord. Like one of our publications, they're not even connected to a Discord. If you have a Discord with 30,000 people, you are getting views on everything. Like your YouTube channel was buzzing. Their YouTube channel, I think, has 748 views. Your YouTube channel was buzzing. Your website is doing well over 60,000 unique visitors. They said, oh, we do 100,000. But what they did is they showed, I guess, what was a current. I don't know when it was, because they don't have a date there. They showed a particular month of activity, and it showed that it dropped 50%. So yeah, they had like over 120,000 unique visitors one particular month. We can boast, one of my publications can boast the same numbers. They don't have any dates on the snippet or whatever. They just keep regurgitating that over and over again when people say, you guys aren't big yourselves. Meanwhile, Reforge Gaming has over 200,000 average viewership per month. He has 10 million views over a 4-month period. Why are you claiming that you're bigger than him? What would make you bigger than him? I don't doubt that you have access to third-party PR. I have access to third-party PR. Not even using my publications. Today, if I wanted a code, I could go and use the MM2K Gaming Streams channel and get third-party access for a code. So that means nothing. I can definitely do it with my publication, with one of our publications. But again, because you're talking to people ignorant who are seething, wanting to attack and pile on to a creator, they take this as gospel. That's when the conversation started. When they said, oh, snap, we got a fellow publication owner out there verifying and double checking our work. And guess what they did? They had the audacity to now block me. So now I ask you guys that the truth is out there. Is this truly a case of misinformation, or is this overarching? Is this overarching zealotry on behalf of this publication? So that was the story. It took me 2 hours to get to the story. But now let's talk about the problem. So let me do this. In order to talk about the problem that this all presents, let's do this. So I showed you guys the thread, right? That was the problem. you know, in their approach, and them saying that you have to have information directly from the subject matter. It has to be from the source. I mean, it has to be from the subject matter directly, or it's not a source, is bullpucky. That invalidates the overwhelming majority of journalism that's out here, right? On top of that, when you listen to Reforge Gaming on the information he gives, he does not speak of it matter-of-factly. What am I talking about? I want to show you guys and gals this. Give me a moment. And so let's do this. Let's mute this music and let's unmute the desktop and let's go here. All right. So let's listen to this clip of Reforge Gaming explaining the information that he got and putting a very spot on, indistinguishable disclaimer on how valid this information truly is. Let's go.
I think he doesn't say only AA games like Sea of Thieves and other games going to PlayStation, not AAA. Multiple sources are confirming that there are plans not just for Starfield, but beyond. 2 different sources have related to me that Starfield is in fact coming to PS5. And before that, there was one of the sources on the one forum that said, oh no, yeah, Starfield's coming. It's basically already confirmed. Now again, these people could all have really bad intel, or they could all be lying. They could be just making stuff up.
I'm going to play it again for you, for those of you in the back.
I think he doesn't say only AA games like Sea of Thieves and other games going to PlayStation, not AAA. Multiple sources are confirming that there are plans not just for Starfield, but beyond. 2 different sources have related to me that Starfield is in fact coming to PS5. And before that, there was one of the sources on the one forum that said, oh no, yeah, Starfield's coming. It's basically already confirmed. Now again, these people could all have really bad intel, or they could all be lying. They could be just making stuff up.
What's the problem with that? If I can go to multiple high-profile Xbox content creators that are sitting there with no explanation of their sources, not even saying this is coming from a source, but speaking matter-of-factly that, oh, God of War could be coming to Xbox. Why can't, and that not be attacked? Why can't Reforge just simply say, look, this information was shared with me. These are credible sources that I'm hearing, and he particularly talks about a forum. So I'm guessing like a forum where he's included with a bunch of other creators, maybe bigger creators than him, or a DM or something like that. Who knows? I can sympathize with that because I've seen a lot of information, a lot of high profile information. Again, information that I'll never share with you, being in discussion places with creators way bigger than me, just because of my affiliation with the Broadband Bullies. NZ. Right? So to try to act like that this is not true, or this isn't possible based off that vague response from what I believe is the third-party PR people that was just responsible for validating when the game is releasing and giving you codes, I think is very disingenuous, very dishonest, and just the antithesis of what journalism with integrity is all about. It's disgusting to me. And then you have the audacity to block me. I took a couple of jabs here and there, but you completely insulted this individual for no good reason at all. Just for him having a discussion that everybody else is having a discussion about. You invalidate the whatever little authority your brand had because You're a zealot. So you throw all their work down the toilet. And now you're going to turn your publication into a survivor. One that has to survive off on just, creating pro Xbox propaganda. And the moment that you go against the grain, you're going to be dropped like a sack of potatoes. Like when Survivor didn't give a great score to Forza Horizon. Or Forza Motorsport, which I can't remember which one it was. I don't think they gave Starfield a good score either. Hold on, let me see. Let's just validate that. Survivor, Starfield. Yep. Let's see what Survivor gave Starfield. Okay, they gave it an 8. And I don't think people were happy with that. Because they're like, hold on. You are Survivor. You're the darling of the Xbox community. Why didn't you give Starfield a 10? You were supposed to give it a 10. So that's what this Games Enquirer is going to be reduced to. I don't think that every journalist there wants to do that, because from what I've heard, there's been other situations in the reverse where they've lied against Xbox. This is coming from Jez Gordon. Now again, do I think Jez Gordon is the most credible person in the world? No, but he has. But I think Jez Gordon, from what I'm seeing from this Games Enquirer, is a lot more credible than them. And I have been able to validate some things, even for Google Stadia, that Jez Gordon has got accurate. Not a lot, but some things. I don't know if anything can be validated from this group. They talk about how they announced that the next movie was going to be Zelda and they broke it before everybody. We don't know how true that is. You have other Xbox creators, even those that also participate in the pile on unfairly and unrighteously against Reforge Gaming, saying, hold on, look. From what I'm hearing, this Games Enquirer isn't cracked up what they're all, and all what they're all cracked up to be. So if third-party sources are valid, as we illustrate here, and Reforge Gaming didn't make a matter-of-fact assertion, why is this happening? That takes us to part 3. Again, why is this happening? Well, number one, it's happening because Xbox zealotry and sympathy is the fastest way to blow up. Period. I've illustrated before, we got creators that lie about their affinity for Xbox, lie about engaging with the games, and then when it gets proven that they don't, they backpedal. But because they're willing to say nice things about the brand of your choice, you let it go. Now we got publications getting into the fray. Publications are getting into the fray, and they're sitting there saying goofy stuff and trying to play console wars. Again, we had Survivor trying to do it. We have others that I'm not going to name. I'm not going to attack. It doesn't. As a co-publication owner myself, I got to be more mindful of attacking other publications. I will call out bullpucky on subject matters when they come about, but I'm not going to attack. Even if they need to be addressed, I'm not going to attack them. I'm not going to name them. But I will, for example, give you examples like IGN and GameSpot. A lot of times they like to cater in a console war and put stuff out there that placates their fan base. And look, they're the number one game publications in the world. So if PlayStation is the number one platform in the world, then they're going to go with their fan base. Their fan base is likely PlayStation and on both areas. So they're going to placate to them. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have titles that are enticing to them because that's the make of their fan base. So publications get into this console war. It erodes the integrity that's out there, the facts, the transparency. It erodes it all. But when you look at it deeper, there's an agenda out here when it comes to this Games Enquirer. What am I talking about? Well, let's go to Exhibit A. Again, I'll talk about the aforementioned Jez Gordon, who says it's not coming to PlayStation 5 Games Enquirer, says this one Twitter poster. You're not a trustworthy source, says Jez Gordon. So let's look at what's coming out here. We saw the prior tweet where they said that they're going to be muting this because they felt like they got enough Xbox clicks and stuff about it, right? They talk about we're owned by a studio with clients across the industry while you're a YouTuber that is only interested in speaking to those who give you money. We've already debunked that. We've already talked about what that was all about. Otherwise, their opinion doesn't matter and you console war for clicks. You have no sources, at least not at Bethesda, and we don't report on misinformed claims from YouTube accounts. It's not news and you're not newsworthy. Okay. So people were like, oh, he got destroyed. But here comes Jez Gordon. And with the reality, with the dose of reality, to be frank, I've caught GE making ish up before. And here you got this one, but hold on, dude. He's roasting Reforge Gaming. The truth doesn't matter. Are you up to speed on Reforge? Before you do, to be frank, maybe check into it. Like, what are you doing? You're going against the grain, dude. Jazz says, I know, but wanted to mention GE's as a trustworthy source, as they're claiming here, since they're getting some virality from this. They spread fake FUD about Xbox stuff I was able to debunk in seconds previously. Straight from the horse's mouth. Also, we got this, which I found rather interesting. Now they blocked me, so let's see if this will pop up. Oh no, this is from another YouTuber. Oh no. So let me read my caption. I said, so Xbox gamer, this is your newfound savior? Whose sources at Bethesda don't even give them correct dates on when keys will be releasing? Can't believe I'm saying this, but I think you all need to trust Jez on this one. Here we go. This is coming from another YouTuber who says, well, if they had contacts at ZeniMax, they wouldn't have gotten it wrong about Starfield review keys going out on a certain date. A lot of people, especially this month, going around like they have leaks, rumors, insider sources becoming a bit of a joke lately. So this same Games Enquirer, and it just brought back my memory, and I can't believe that Xbox gamers are just falling for this crap. But again, it's all about engagements. They said review keys go out on the 1st of September. Jez says this is false. That's all he says. Their response to Jez is, no, it's not. It's what we've been told when codes will be sent out. And Jez just says, well, you've been told incorrect information. Laugh out loud. And he says, perhaps you could provide the correct information. He says, no, just here to prevent the spread of misinformation. Now, there's other conversations where they say Jez is a liar. They call Jez a liar in other posts, right? So they said he was a liar for telling them that this information was false. Wow. Let's do this again. Let's do at games, because I want to show you guys that direct comment. Games Enquirer at Jez Gordon. Let's see if we can find that. Says, well, I take it back. You were right only because we all know still, but we're not supporting one who attacked in this way. Where is your proof? You make accusations, then no receipts. Why? Because I've been on here for 13 years. Oh, so we got somebody else that's taking them to task. And I think they must be watching, because I think did they block us? Oh no, they didn't block us. It's just that they blocked this person, so we can't see what they said to this person. So I'm gonna see, says again for the 30th time. Let me see. if we can find their comment to Jez Gordon where they called Jez a liar. Let's see. He said, otherwise we wouldn't have anything he says, not to mention. Oh, I can't find it. Hold on. It might be here. No, that's not it. Damn it. I cannot find the comment between them and Jez Gordon. But it was a while ago, and I probably can't see it because it was a while ago. Yep. Darn it. Gosh darn it. I can't find it. It was a while ago though, but they called Jez a liar when he originally told them. That's not true about the dates. Maybe if I put Jez Gordon, Starfield. Let me see. Oh, this is from August. I can't find it. I'm curious. The game reviewer, no. Okay, I was gonna see if they responded to him in here. Because they could have been mad that he reposted that from Jazz. But I can't. Let me try Jez Gordon. You've been told. You've been told. Let's see if I can find that thread. I want to see that direct thread. Okay, here it goes. Okay, so no, that's what, okay. It says, nah, just here to prevent the spread of misinformation. So you won't correct the record nor back up anything. We're just supposed to not believe Bethesda PR and keep, oh, they told on themselves. They told on themselves. Wow. Oh my God, they told on themselves. This is classic. They told on themselves. Let me explain how they told on themselves. This is exactly what I was referring to. I knew I was right. Let me see if I can find it. Give me a second. I got to make it because I can't let y'all see my information. Hold on, give me a second. I knew I was right. They told on themselves. They told on themselves. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, log in. Oh my God. All right. Oh my God. What? Okay. All right, they sent a hold on. Yep, they're extra careful. Well, I got two-way authentication because this is let me go to my Gmail. Here we go. There we go. Right on time. Y'all hear that ding? That's right on time. Okay, let's log in. All right. So Let me go to keys here, and I'm gonna have to take a snippet of this. So, offered, requested. Let's go to Starfield. Let's go to the Starfield launch campaign. I just want to read something. Right. Hold on. Let me see here. You know what? I think okay. Let me try something else. Because Starfield launch campaign. Let me see, hold on. Give me a second, I'm still looking. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. I think I got it. I think I got it. They told on themselves. I think. No. Hold on, give me a second. I'm almost there. Let's see here. Let me keep looking. Let me see, content. Oh man. Damn it. Hold on. Yeah, I want. I'm still looking. Give me a moment. Here's what I'm looking for. I want to show you guys. I mean, I could tell you guys, but I want to show you guys as well. Starfield specifically had, or Bethesda specifically had, a third-party vendor do its PR for the Starfield launch campaign. They had a third-party vendor responsible for that. The third-party vendor sent out a tweet and said, look, if you want to be part of this launch campaign, go over to Keymailer. That maybe I should put Keymailer in there. Go over to Keymailer. Make sure your credentials have to match up, and if they do, we'll send you a code, or you'll be eligible for a code, right? It is very clearly stated that the Bethesda PR people are not responsible for this code, and you're not in contact with them. You're in contact with a third-party vendor. So I don't understand why they don't understand this. Damn it, and I cannot find the tweet. Oh, man. Matter of fact, here's the best that I could pull up. Oh, and that sucks. Here's what I can pull up. Because I can't find the tweet that I used in order to, to get on Starfield. Let's see here. So if you look at this, this is a content creator that was given a code. And this is, again, I'd like to thank Keymeller, Bethesda Studios, and this California, which must be the third party vendor or PR team that was giving out codes who this person was in contact with. Now, I'm not sure if California or like their @ isn't active anymore. I'm not sure if or if he got the @ wrong. I'm not sure if California is the only third-party vendor that did this, but they're one of them. Bethesda was not in direct contact, especially with these low-ball entities that would have included my publication, and it wouldn't have included Games Enquirer. They were talking to a third-party representative. They were not talking to someone at Bethesda. That's their contact, a third-party representative. So this is bogus. And to prove that it was bogus, Jez Gordon, who has contact directly at Bethesda and Microsoft. We know this man. Say what you want about Jez Gordon. Trust me, I have. But one thing you can't say about Jez Gordon is that he don't have direct contacts. The direct contacts that he has at Bethesda confirmed to him that the keys were not coming out September 1st. That was wrong. And maybe Bethesda gave the wrong information to the vendors inadvertently, and the vendors didn't have the corrected information yet. But if anybody's going to know, it's Jez. Maybe Bethesda purposefully gave the wrong information to the, again, that's speculation, because they didn't want it to leak out. But if anybody knows, Jez is going to know. Like, why are y'all listening to Games Enquirer? This is such an idiotic response. So you won't correct the record, nor back up anything we are just supposed to not believe Bethesda PR and Keymeller? It's not Bethesda PR. It's a third-party vendor that Bethesda hired to handle the giving out of codes and to answer any elementary questions. That's why this creator said, I want to thank Bethesda, Keymeller, and whoever this California is. This is the third-party vendor, or one of them, was doing the frontline work with the codes. Bethesda wasn't doing it. You, Games Enquirer, with your itty bitty following, you do not have direct pipelines to Bethesda. You think you have direct pipelines because of Keymeller? You're an idiot. An idiot. So Jazz comments, I'm just letting people know that you're giving incorrect information. They also called him a liar, but I can't find that tweet. He said, well, thanks for zero help. He says review dates and release dates aren't embargo. An embargo means we can't talk about the game. Stop it. You know what's insane to me? That this topic is being argued for more than 7 hours, and y'all just won't let it go. In a few weeks, we shall see. So yeah. It's unbelievable that what the lengths people will go to make up stuff. And so throughout this whole exercise, it's now been proven that these guys are projecting. They lie, they make up stuff, they overpurport, and they saw an opportunity to go on to get more clicks. Let's just do this. I will tell you this, that when I first saw this news, or when I first saw this being debated, Games Enquirer was at 1,800 followers. Because of the numbskull activity that happens on Twitter, they are now at 2,300 followers, almost at 2,400. Vet Cloud Gaming in the house, what's going on, brother? I even got it. And look, the numbskull knee-jerk reaction, my brother Coldblood fell victim to it. He was out there regurgitating some stuff that wasn't even true. Y'all got to separate yourselves from Twitter. I get to where it's easy for you to look at a snippet. It's easy for you to see a link to something that is taken out of context. I get it. But you got to do a little bit. Having facts is more important to being told stuff rapidly. Y'all got to let go of this knee-jerk reaction of just consuming a bunch of stuff rapidly. This Games Enquirer, a bunch of liars. Well, I don't want to say that. Let me take that back. They've been reduced to look like a bunch of liars. Why do I say that? Why do I just say that they were reduced to it? I want to share with you guys something. This is an exchange between Porter Rock and this person called the Major. Porter Rock was simply talking about how games that are single player in nature have an accumulation of more hours played on them than games that are multiplayer in nature. And he goes and he's basing this off this report that shows such that when you looked at the collective of hours played on PlayStation across the board, more hours are being accumulated on single player narrative games than they are multiplayer games. That's astounding, being that the top 20 games that are being played, overwhelming majority of them are multiplayer games as a service titles. But I guess, when you look at the collective of at least the other 100 or whatever, hundreds or thousands of games that are being played, when you get beyond that top 20, there is more collectively single player games that are being played on PlayStation. And there's a report that shows this. This person, the Major, simply says the majority of PlayStation players play Call of Duty, FIFA, Fortnite more than anything else. And based off of validated information, that's wrong. And Porterbox says, I knew it. He says, why do I get a feeling people won't get this? And he's right. What you're not getting is you're looking at the top games being played, like in ranking order. Porterbox not talking about in ranking order. He's talking about the game overall. When you look at all the games that are being played on PlayStation, you put them in two buckets. You just separate them in two buckets. What are the single player games? What are the multiplayer games? Or the games as a service titles? Those games go into another bucket. When you look at bucket one, there are more hours accumulated collectively from everybody playing on PlayStation from those type of games than the hours accumulated on multiplayer games. Even though games as a service games, usually people dig into them longer, you know what I'm saying? On average, when you look at all the games that are being played on PlayStation, the overwhelming majority of them must be single player experiences, because despite the fact that on average, people put more time into games as a service titles, there's a cumulative more hours on single player games. So, because of that, when you look at the PlayStation player base, you can easily assess that the majority of PlayStation gamers put more hours, not the average, the majority, the collective, the accumulative, puts more hours in single player games than multiplayer games. This is his response. Oh, I do, and the evidence goes to the contrary, not to mention the article you're trying to quote is from 2022 in Gaming Bolt, which is frequently wrong. I don't think, and you'll see why, I don't think this person can stand on a publication being wrong. That's not an argument that you want to have, especially after what Jez Gordon has said about Games Enquirer. I'll give the association a little bit. But where is your proof that this information has been invalidated? You don't have it. Let's continue. It's like, no, you don't. The topic is the sum of all multiplayers. This isn't Fortnite versus Spider-Man. It's the total hours of gameplay. It says all the signs of single player games combined. And it's been like this since 2019 up to 2023. So he says, you're talking about a Gaming Bolt article. No, I'm looking at data that goes up to 2023. So this is where they start showing their true colors. Information is still inaccurate and out of date. Thus, your post is wrong. Yes, I do, kiddo. It's my job. You, on the other hand, just waffle on YouTube and frequently get proven wrong. Okay, here we go. There it is. There it is. The fanboy attack when Porter Rock is basing his information on the data. He continues to break down the data to him and not play this stupid game of who can insult who, right? And then that's when it gets points out that he's biased towards Xbox and only look at his timeline and it would prove it. Why would we look at his timeline? Guess who this guy is? Creative director at Buzzsaw Studio, editor-in-chief at Games Enquirer. Wow. Wow. That's all we need to. This idiot hijacked the Games Enquirer brand and put out all this false information about Reforge Gaming to satisfy his zealot needs, ruin the validity of the brand. Yeah, he got some followers. He got 500 followers on him. But again, now the brand is tarnished forever. They're in a more worse predicament than Survivor, because Jez Gordon said it himself that a lot of their content has, been pretentious towards Xbox. So what, you guys are going to go pro Xbox all of a sudden? Let's see how that works out for you. And now that you're under the microscope, you will be routinely scrutinized and picked apart. You will be dismantled and you won't be able to handle it. You can tell by the blocking brigade that you just went on. So yes, the editor-in-chief is a zealot. Period. It's time for us. We're at the 2.5 hour mark. It's time to wrap up. So, what is the solution here? If you're a diehard Xbox guy or gal or gamer, period, what you need to do is you need to refocus your anger on the group who makes this discussion even fathomable. That's Xbox. Their lack of transparency and clarity in whatever the hell their direction is makes this even a fathomable discussion. And I'll say it again. If Xbox content creators can sit there with no data whatsoever, just purebred assumption, if they can sit there and say Xbox is going to get God of War, what is wrong with Reforge Gaming simply saying, look, I'm hearing that Starfield is on the twerking block to get on the Xbox stripper pole and show its good stuff, if there is any, to PlayStation gamers. That's what I heard. You heard the clip. Don't know how valid it is, if people got wires crossed, but this is what I heard, and actually I believe it, and here's why. What's wrong with him saying that under that pretense? Y'all also need to think beyond the Twitterverse. Y'all need to get beyond cornball. Oh, he's cooking. Stop trying to extract things from the hood that's been played a long time ago. He's cooking. That's 2022. Stop it. He's cooking. And you need to bypass talking points that y'all spread amongst each other that get debunked. Hold your creators accountable. The same people that told you that Xbox was going to have 40 to 50 frame deltas over PlayStation, that had you on Twitter for years talking about how 60 frames per second was the way to go, and PlayStation not dropping pure 4K 60 modes. It was an embarrassment for your top games of 2023, which included Starfield and Redfall, to not have 60 frames per second modes at launch. Starfield still doesn't have one to date on that console, is an embarrassment. Start holding these creators accountable that's co-signing and placating to your desires for Xbox to do better without Xbox doing better, and pilfering you because of that. Also, general game, that's my advice for the Xbox gamer. General gamer, you got to push back. I had to do today's show. I had something completely different, something a little bit more fun lined up, but I had to do today's show for the sake of journalism that is credible. Like, as a co-owner of a publication, I can tell you our most successful publication, the overwhelming majority of the people there, if not all, don't agree with anything that I say here on the Hard Knock Digital Culture platform. And as long as whatever their points of view are, or the things that they express or they cascade to you all, is based upon a factual plane, I would have it no other way. I value diversity of thought. I want a collective of thinkers out here. I don't want people that just agree with me and be an echo chamber. I mean, if you think like me, fine, that's cool. But I don't trust people that just do exactly what I do. You got to have some pushback or something. Even at work, I have a collective of people, assistants and stuff like I've had. Well, I don't have assistants now because I work on special projects. But when I did manage, I had assistants and stuff like that didn't think like me. And that made me one of the most successful managers, if not the most successful manager on our floor, as far as mistakes, errors, things like that. Because we were able to put up great game plans and stuff like that to eradicate errors and minimize risk. And we had one of the biggest risks in the entire department. Cold Blood Sensei, who co-runs a lot of my content with me now, he don't think like me. You saw at the beginning of the show. He doesn't agree with me on Reforge Gaming. That's fine. He doesn't agree with me on GeForce Now. That's fine. I like to have a collective of thoughts, to add diversity to it, as long as we pivot from facts. I will not engage with people that are just brand loyalists that will say anything to tantalize their brand loyalist ways. You got to pivot from facts. If we're going to disagree on something, fine. We got to pivot from facts. Also, If something feels strange, look into it. Like this, if we would have done a research before even giving these people any attention, then it would have gone a long way to saving us from wasting this time and having the proverbial bus drive by and splash us with a whole bunch of mud water. If we would have just stepped back and looked at our surroundings before engaging, and I gotta pass that along to Reforge. That's my homie, but I gotta pass that along to him too. You ain't got to engage with every flamethrower out there. Just simply do what I do, man. I used to engage with everybody until I realized they were cutting into my content creation time. They weren't even worth it. I looked at this guy right here. As soon as I would have saw 58, and then I would have saw 1800, and then took a look at their website, for crying out loud. And again, I'm not saying we got the swankiest website, but as soon as I would have taken a look at this, the improperly ratioed thumbnails, like this looks like a college at-home project site. And I'm not saying ours is the swankiest, but come on now, look. I would have said it's not even worth my time. It's not even worth my time. So there you have it, folks. And last but not least, I do got to say this. Make Twitter your last source of reliable information until it's vetted. And please come on over to Geeks, because I'm telling you, this is your safety net. This is, what do they call that? This is your doomsday prepper place. When things go totally nuclear on these social media sites, this is your bunker. Get away from that cesspool that's out on Twitter. It's not worth it. With that said, that's our show. Let's get into what's going on here on Twitter. I mean, not Twitter. Let's go. Jesus Christ. I know better than that. Let's go on. What's going on here on social? I mean, on our chat. Let's see what people got to say. Cobla says Reforge either discloses who his sources is, or he can shut up because it's clickbait for money that he loves so much. I don't even know if I can engage. I love you, cold blood, but I don't even. This is just rhetoric. This is unvetted rhetoric that I don't even know how to respond to. And this ain't got nothing with whether I like the guy or not. What you're saying is infactual. If he is all about money, explain why before even giving this guy a dime, he engaged with me. Explain why he even took the time to chat with me. Some of your favorite content creators, cold blood, wouldn't even give me the time of day because I wasn't a member. They won't DM me or anything. As far as him having goals set up, financial goals set up, again, he's found a successful path to make money off of doing content creation. There's nothing wrong with that. He doesn't block off his most watched content from people that don't pay money. You can go sit there, instead of you relying on the cesspool of Twitter, you can actually watch the content and see how wrong you have this yourself. You just choose not to. You just rather listen to spliced up, unfactual muck and base your assertions off of that. I can't engage with that. That's the antithesis of what I'm about. I don't know. And it is not to defend him. It's just, I can't I can't comment on stuff like that. It's just not rooted in fact. The only thing, but what wasn't in the comment, the only thing that's rooted in fact is, does he promote how you can support him often? Yes, he does. Does he make that a necessity in order for you to engage with him at all? No, absolutely not. He's made a living off of it where he can stay at home, raise his kids, enjoy time with them. I don't blame him for that. There's nothing wrong with that. And because of the way his platform is set up, he's not beholden to any belief system. So he can say whatever he wants. He can go from one extreme and say he could go from one extreme and say Xbox sucks. I'm mad that they're not making the Series X, show its might because of the decisions they're making. And he can go to another extreme where he defends Phil Spencer and calls people out for going overboard on Starfield. Now, do I agree with all those takes? No, but he can be authentic in doing so because the way his platform is structured, it's not beholden to any message. I can't say that for a bunch of people, even content creators that I do like outside of him, because they have a following that either sways one way or the other. And when you diverge from one way or the other, they usually get called out and they lose their fan base. So I don't know what to say to that. Yeah, I'm a member on this channel, but before I was a member on this channel, I was engaged with him before so. And I support people that I like. There's, and Cold Blood, that viewpoint is so remedial, as in silly. It's so silly because I'll give you another prime example. I support a platform called Rebel FM. I donate to them. Or I support their patronage. I don't agree with a single thing that Rebel FM says in regards to gaming. But the reason why I support them is because when they get out of their opinions and they talk about game information and stuff that happened behind the scenes, it's factual. It's factual because I know their backgrounds. They were former developers, publications, and stuff like that. So again, when people talk facts, you can give your opinions and your opinions can be as kooky as they come. But when you cascade facts, when you base your opinions off of facts, I appreciate that. That's far and few between. Because it's far and few between, I support people when they do that. And on the flip side of that, Cold Blood, what you said is contradictory to what you do, because don't you support this platform? So are you compromised now because you support this platform? No, you don't agree with a lot of things that I say, but you support the platform because you enjoy the banter. You enjoy the discussions, even if you're on the opposite side of them. So me supporting a creator does not mean that I'm beholden to their views. There's a lot of things that he says that I don't agree with. I don't agree with his defense of Phil Spencer. I think Phil's inadequacies are at the center of this. And that if we had a more competent person that led Microsoft gaming, that Microsoft wouldn't be in this rut. But you can support me and not agree with my takes on GFN. So are you compromised? I mean, that doesn't even make any sense to me. See what I'm saying? It's like that contrarian nature. I love you, brother, but that contrarian nature sometimes clouds your judgment. Are you compromised now? Or you only play, like for instance, if somebody came to you right now, Cold Blood, and said Remnant is trash, it's not good at all, it's not good to play co-op or nothing, it's just it's not even worth the time, and you say, well, no, I may not think this may not be my favorite game, but I'm enjoying the co-op, and someone comes to you and says, no, the only reason why you're saying that is because that MM2K likes that game and it's in its top 3 games of the year. You're compromised. Enough said because you support them. Are they right? Is that true? You see, it's like you and Watchman Collective. I like to sit y'all in the room and just say, see, this is how logic works. Whenever you make a comment like that, that's based in a certain logic, it has to apply across the board. If I'm compromised because I listen to Reforge, even though I disagree with him on certain things, then you must be compromised because you support the platform. No, you could care less of what I think about Remnant. You like Remnant because, at least from a co-op standpoint, it entertains you to a degree. It may not be your favorite game, but you wouldn't play it if you weren't getting some enjoyment out of it, or what, you know what I'm saying? You're not playing it for me. Me doing the co-op with you may be a reason for enticing you to play, but you're your own person. You've proven that time and time again. So just because I happen to like Remnant 2, that doesn't mean, oh, I would never touch that game, but because MM2K got it, now I'm gonna play. No, that's not what you did. So you're not compromised. You see how that logic works? But yeah, hold on, let's see what else we got here. He says, I'd rather listen to UNZ ish on PlayStation and laugh my ass off than listen another minute of Reforge begging for losers to buy his coffee and donate gifted subs. Well, again, that is such a twisted version of what his content is. Does he routinely promote subscriptions? Yeah. That's how his platform works. That's fine. But to make it seem like it's the overwhelming majority of his content, no. There's a lot of discussion and debate going on there. And if this is how he makes, and here's the thing too, why I prefer his content and why I don't mind him asking for subs. Here's how I became a member. I'm sitting in the chat one day. I got gifted a sub. I'm like, oh crap, okay. Saw the additional content that was provided by him. And I was like, I think this is worth it. And now I'm a sub. And I continued, I continued to pay and not let it lapse because I felt like the content was worth it. I would rather have someone who subs for the majority of their revenue opposed to people that are purely focused on viewership. Here's why I say that, Cold Blood. When you have people that are based upon viewership as far as getting their revenue, that's how you get the Colt Eastwoods. That's how you get the dealer gamings. That's how you get the ridiculous stuff that you might hear from other people. That's how you get the 40 frames, because they're trying to say tantalizing, provocative things to get that click. Why? Because they get paid off the ad revenue. So the more clicks that they get, the more things provocative that they can say to get you to click and just watch the content so an ad pops up, the more successful they are. But none of that stuff is based off of fact. With Reforge Gaming, because he doesn't make clicks and he disables ads, If it was all about him being greedy, he would enable ads, but he's disabled ads on his content. And that allows him to not be beholden to YouTube and clicks and say things that just for shock value. When you say clickbait, that's bullpucky. He gets no incentive. There is no incentive for him to clickbait. He gets nothing for you viewing him. You have to sub. You're only going to sub if you take the time and watch. And you're like, what this guy is saying in totality is substantive. I'm going to pay him money monthly. That's a lot more that you have to prove in order to get a sub, Cold Blood. That's what I'm saying. What you're saying doesn't make sense. You would rather sit there, like what you have to do here, go through a whole bunch of ads on stuff that you're not even interested in, opposed to someone in lesser time say, hey, look, guys, if you want to get the gold up, our goal is such and such, we appreciate that. Okay, now back to the subject. You're telling me that you would rather someone base their content off of lies and true clickbait to get you to click on the content and see an ad, opposed to someone having to grind for your support by having something substantive out there. I can't relate to that. I think that dynamic makes his content all the more, and the same with Z. That's why Z's content is so much better than your top YouTube, because he don't rely on ad revenue. My bro's been canceled from all ad revenue, so the followers have to give their support so he can do whatever he wants. You get these crazy videos about PlayStation games going to Xbox because people are chasing ad revenue. But because he makes it about subs, because Z makes it about your participation in super chat or subs or whatever, they can be authentic. Now, does Reforge push the sub aspect more than Z? Absolutely. But this is how he feeds his family. He's found a way. So yeah, he's going to infuse it more. And I'm okay with that. I would rather see him do that opposed to me seeing ad. I'd rather see him mention the goals for 10 seconds every blue moon, opposed to me seeing a 30-second ad about something I don't give two rats' asses about every 5 minutes. And I'd rather be involved with the creator that's getting paid with them having to put something substantive out there, opposed to a creator putting something out there that's just garnered for clicks. That's to be provocative. We talked about it, how the one person said, the PlayStation 5 Pro is not a true next-gen refresh. The Nintendo Switch 2 is. Come on, man. That's clickbait. We talked about another creator that me and you liked. I'm not going to say any names. That now they're just being a provocateur for clicks. You rather see that than someone just take the time out, a fraction of the time that these ads aren't up here, and just say, hey, don't forget, this is how you can support my content. Hey, that's beyond me. So he says, I don't see ads on YouTube Premium. I got Premium. I get you, Cold Blood, but everybody doesn't have Premium. So they're still driving. You may not see them, but their content is still driven off the ads. I get what you're saying. I get that you're just joking around, but I'm saying their content is still driven off the ads. So they're still clickbaiting. But to where, like, for example, Z is going to say whatever he wants, regardless of what anybody says, because he ain't driven off the ads, whether you're YouTube or not. He's like, no, whether you're YouTube Premium or not, because he's not driven off the ads. He's driven off of supporter premium. I think that's the best way to handle content creation. If I had enough people that supported this platform, I would turn off my ads in a second. So Paul Games says, preach him M2Ks. Is Sony going to do it too? And he said, if this is true, then it's from Nadala. He says, MBG is a clown too. Yeah, I mean, I hate to personally attack anybody. Yeah, MBG reminds me of someone who skips his meds. He's up and down, man. He don't know which way the wind is blowing. And again, that's what he does. I don't consume his content. I don't feel like that I get like an intellectual benefit from it. It's just someone talking. I don't want, like, I don't, even if you like what I like, I'm not going to waste my time with you unless I feel like there's some type of intellectual or extremely entertaining output there. Like Z, when he's in his bag, he can do all that. But at the very least, Z's going to be entertaining. So I'll listen to Z. Z's going to be, whether it's just a bunch of F in this, F in that, you know what I mean? And people cracking on each other is highly entertaining. It's side splitting. It has me cracking up. I'll be listening to it at work. And then when my business partner comes in the office, we be cracking up at Z. You know what I'm saying? Because he usually goes live when I got to do this job. Like tonight, I got to be there at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be cracking up to some Z, right? If he goes live today. But outside of that, I'm not listening to you if you don't have any intellectual prowess. Like, I'm not looking for someone to just go rah, 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 GFN or rah, 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 PlayStation. Nothing against those platforms. You got to say something smart to me. Something smart that's based off of fact. That's why when it comes to the PlayStation content, I listen to Porter Rock. I go to Porter Rock. I think he has the most intellectually sound perspectives from a PlayStation gamer. Reforge, I don't consider him a PlayStation gamer. He's just a gamer looking for a good gaming experience who's fed up and has something to say. Like, I'm not a PlayStation, even though PlayStation is my preferred console, I'm not a PlayStation gamer either. I can relate to Reforge and his frustrations. But I when it comes to PlayStation related content or console war data, I listen to Porter Rock. When it comes to Xbox, oh man, I'll listen to. I mean, when it comes to, I have no content creators now that there's just too much provocateur stuff being put out there. I feel like from that side, just a discussion. I'm really disappointed in seeing some creators that I used to adore, even when I didn't agree with them, entertaining this whole PlayStation games are coming. No, address what's going on with Microsoft. What are you talking about? PlayStation may do this. Stop. So really, when it comes to it from an Xbox perspective, I like watching. I like listening to Rebel FM. It's not advertised as an Xbox podcast, and they don't go and try to promote Xbox stuff. It's just that when the subject matter pops up, it's usually pro Xbox. So that's the most I can stomach this generation from Xbox creators, Citro creators. I mean, I can do the IGN Xbox show every now and again, but they're getting less and less focused on details and information and more or less embellishing on some of this foolery and effery that's out here on Twitter. What's the purpose? A more highly produced version of the muck that we see on Twitter. So like I said, Rebel FM, because they're fact-based, even though I don't agree with their opinions, they're fact-based. Like I said, I financially support them too. I just love smart content. It motivates me to try to do the same the best way I can. We're over 3 hours now. It's time for me to go. He said, Cold Blood, I can't stand you. He said, I go to Crap Gamer for PlayStation news. He will make the. And he says, the only thing I learned from Reforge is how to be a professional e-bagger. Nah, I don't think that's fair. Kudos to Reforge, man. Kudos to him for having that format. I think that is the ultimate format to follow when somebody doesn't activate ads. They're leaning on viewer support. I think that's the best way to do it, content creation, because I think you get the most authentic material because of it. And I think Next Gen is a prime example of it. Next Gen doesn't have to placate to an audience. If Next Gen could be beating the crap out of Xbox, but if he feels like Xbox is doing something better than PlayStation, he'll land base PlayStation. He'll pivot just like that. He doesn't have to placate to an audience because his audience supports his platform, how it entertains, and the type of discussions that are held there. That's what I value from a content creator, not these content creators that are trying to placate to a specific audience and get people to click, be provocative and get people to click on their stuff and don't have any authenticity or don't pivot from any facts. So with that said, I am done. I did a 3-hour show. I'm going to record a video right now that's going to go on YouTube, and then I got to shovel the snow and do some things. I got to run out of here. So I will be back on Cold Blood. Oh, man. Yeah, we ain't going to be doing no gaming today, brother. We ain't. It's already 1 o'clock. I wanted to get started at 9, but then something happened. All right, so with that said, I appreciate all of y'all. Let me get out of here. Matter of fact, before I even record this video, let me get out of here and take care of this stuff. We have a bad snowstorm, so I got to dig myself out and I got to get out of here. But with that said, I appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all so much. Till next time, have a wonderful gaming day. Peace.